Knockout power is one of the most dangerous weapons in boxing. If you don't have it, it takes way more work to stop your opponent than a fighter who hits like a horse. The best boxers in history knew this, and they always focused on building that knockout punch. Most people think you have to be big, muscular, or born strong to hit hard, but you don't need any of that. If you follow my 4-step knockout punch formula, by the end of this video, you won't be punching like you've got pillows on your hands. You'll be punching like you've got bricks in your gloves. Now I'm going to start with something that probably contradicts what you've been taught. You don't need to practice everything. You're under the idea that you need to be well-rounded, but I'm going to tell you why that thought is holding you back. Imagine that you're starting a fighting game and you're picking your character. After you make your selection, you play the game for a few days, but you decide you don't like that character, so you swap to another. And after a few more days, you switch to another. In your head, you're telling yourself that it's okay, because you're getting experience with every character. But one day you face somebody in an online match. They're using the default character, and you think you've got it in the bag. Long story short, you get destroyed. That guy was really good. Afterwards, you message him and ask what's his secret to being so skilled. He texts back, "I don't know. I only use this character since he's my favorite." He only uses that character? Now imagine this with boxing. Instead of aiming to improve all of your punches equally, show favoritism. Whatever punch feels most natural, lean into it. Whether that's your hook, cross, uppercut, whatever. You'll develop power in that punch way faster than you would by not committing to something specific.
And facing someone who is really dangerous in one area is way scarier than facing someone who's an all-rounder. You can develop your whole game plan based on that one strength.
However, if you're still making this next mistake, then everything I've told you until now won't matter. You see, many beginners think of your fist as your boxing weapons, but in reality, that's completely wrong. Imagine you and your friend are playing a game. Whoever throws a rock further will win.
You take a deep breath, wind back your arms and legs, and throw it with your entire body weight. It goes pretty far. Your friend, however, only throws from his shoulder, and obviously, his rock goes nowhere near as far. You think to yourself, "Am I friends with an idiot?" But little do you know, you're making the same exact mistake. Many of you have this habit of punching as hard as possible from your arm. And yes, this makes you punch harder compared to if you weren't, but you're losing out on over 60% of your power by doing this, instead of what I'm about to tell you. Real, hard, knockout power comes from the ground, not your body. You must be thinking, then how do I get the power from the ground to my opponent's jaw? Well, it's all in the hips and feet. When you punch, 90% of your power is coming from the rotation of your hips and foot. Think of it as the difference between throwing the rock with your whole body, but flicking it with your wrist. If you want knockout power, it all lies in the hips. So far, you've come pretty far from where you've started. If you implement just these last 2 lessons, then your punches should pack a punch now. However, if you listen to this second to last lesson, then I'm sure you're only going to be adding more power to your punches. On top of that, this is probably the easiest tip to add to your fighting style. I want you to picture 2 cars. One is a small car, and the other is a large one. They're both driving into a brick wall. The only difference is that the large car is driving at 5 miles per hour, while the small one is driving at 30 miles per hour. Using your reasoning skills, which one do you think will have a harder impact on the wall? You probably said the small car, and you'd be correct. Now, what does this tell you about power? That's right, speed is power. A lot of us, including me, have this mindset that when punching, we can either focus on speed or power, when in reality, they're the same thing. The faster your punch is, the more momentum you build, resulting in more power. Typically, when people punch with power in mind, they tend to tense up, which will end up giving you less power than if you were focusing on speed. So how do we build our speed? Well, first of all, always punch with speed in mind. You'll have more speed and power. Another way to punch faster is to train weighted or while wearing resistance bands. This isn't just a corny anime trope. It actually works. I recommend weights over resistance bands. Light weights are all you need. We're not trying to become jacked. we're trying to build power. I linked all the products listed in this video in the description, as well as other good products if you're trying to improve at boxing. Now our final section. And just because it's the last section doesn't mean it's the least important. In fact, this is like the base of your power, the foundation. If you don't understand this aspect, then your power will be nowhere as high as it could be. First, we need to understand the types of muscle fibers. Slow twitch fibers contract more slowly, but are highly resistant to fatigue, making them ideal for endurance activities like distance running or cycling. Fast twitch fibers, on the other hand, contract quickly and forcefully, but tire faster, giving them the edge in explosive movements like sprinting, jumping, or lifting heavy weights. In simple terms, slow twitch fibers are built for stamina, while fast twitch fibers are built for power and speed. Most people have a mix of both, and training can influence which type becomes more dominant, depending on the demands of the activity. But in boxing, what we really want are the fast twitch muscle fibers. This is what will allow you to punch harder and faster. So how do we create more of, as well as strengthen these fast twitch muscle fibers? What you need are plyometrics. Plyometrics are exercises that make your muscles stretch and then snap back really fast, kind of like a rubber band. When you jump, push off the ground quickly, or throw a medicine ball explosively, your muscles first get stretched, store energy, and then release it in a quick, powerful movement. This trains your muscles to fire faster and harder, which is exactly what you need for speed and explosiveness. Here are 5 great exercises to get you started. Medicine ball throws. This will build your rotational explosiveness. Clap push-ups, great for building upper body power. Jump squats will help your lower body rotate with more power when you punch. Overhead slams builds overall explosiveness within your body. And finally, jumping lunges. These help with explosive footwork. If you want a simple training program that will actually get you results, I have a link to mine in the description. So in this video, you learned the 5 core principles to a deadly knockout punch. You learned the importance of having a signature punch, how to generate real power by punching from your body, that speed is directly correlated with power, and how to build next-level explosiveness with plyometrics. But that's only half the battle, because while the great knockout artists such as Mike Tyson had a deadly knockout weapon, they also understood that the other half to the formula for a knockout punch is unpredictability. Well, in my last video, I shared the one simple technique that if added to your punches will make them almost impossible to react to. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Have a good day.